The title's not clickbait. I'll explain just a sec. First, welcome to the Parachuting Kitten Holiday Special. We got a little mini Christmas tree. We've got the 12 cats of Christmas. Everybody's in their Santa hat. I've got this nice mug of water. I'm not about to drink hot chocolate. I'm about to talk at this camera for probably several hours. Ninjago doesn't have a holiday special, so I figured I would do one and sort of make up the deficit by doing something impossible. We have a habit of accomplishing the impossible on this channel. Remember those shorts that don't exist that I included in my Every Second compilation? There are episodes included in this compilation that technically do not exist. Well, creator of the show and longtime friend of the channel, Tommy Andreasen, posted 2 of those shorts on his Twitter shortly after that video went up, seemingly in response to my griping about not being able to find them. I don't want to say anything for sure because I can't prove it, but it seems to me like we all might have helped uncover 2 minutes of lost Ninjago footage, so that's wild. But I know what you're thinking. Kit, you're completely ignoring the title of the video. What does that even mean? Well, let me tell you. Gather around the Christmas fire, and let me tell you the Christmas tale. It has nothing to do with Christmas. Let me tell you the tale of I watched all of Ninjago in 10 days and the insane rabbit hole that it sent me down. Basically, I put out this video. The premise was that I had recently binge watched the series in preparation for this huge video essay that's coming out no time soon. And while I was watching, I noticed some things about the series that weren't directly related to the video essay topic, so I wanted to share those things in their own video. And so I titled it, I watched all of Ninjago in 10 days because I did, and that's a better title than like, here's some stuff, here's some things that I noticed. And it wasn't like a vlog where I was documenting, oh, look at me, I'm doing it in 10 days. Like the 10 days was largely incidental. But predictably, in the comments, we got people going, but I have watched Ninjago in just 5 days. Oh, I've watched Ninjago in 3 days. Amateurs, I've watched Ninjago in only 2 days. Like, okay, despite that not being the point of the video, these comments still kind of got under my skin because they're petty. Like, big deal, okay? We've all been there. I pulled an all-nighter to watch the rebooted episodes when they leaked in whatever language they leaked in, I don't remember anymore. And let me tell you, sleep deprived and hating yourself for deciding to remain sleep deprived is not the ideal way to experience some of the most emotionally charged moments of the show. But despite all of these comments being petty, I am also very petty, so it got me thinking, what is the fastest time that you could binge watch all of Ninjago? Now, I'm just counting full-fledged episodes here, so all of the seasons, the pilots, Day of the Departed, and The Island. The answer is 58 hours and 40 minutes. Ish. Depending on what versions of the episodes you're watching, the credits might be a little longer or shorter, but in general, around 58 hours, 40 minutes. That means anyone claiming to have watched Ninjago in just 2 days has an outdated run. This is so dumb. But this number got me thinking. Sometimes I rewatch the episodes on double speed, and I'm sure a lot of other people do this too. So theoretically, would that bring the possible time down to 29 hours, 20 minutes? But what if you go even faster? What if you're going through at 2.5 speed? Does that still count? In fact, what if we just sped it up an insane amount, beyond comprehensibility? What if you could watch all of Ninjago in just like 10 minutes? Flashing images warning. This video gets very flashy from this point forward. This is what all of Ninjago looks like when it's sped up to just 10 minutes in length. The audio accompanying this is essentially just white noise. I'll play it for a sec. The question is, how fast did we have to speed it up to get to this point. Well, it's playing about 351 times faster than normal. That's over 35,000% speed. I'm playing it for you now. I'll probably post it as a standalone video later, but I think it's pretty interesting to watch as like the color scheme shifts between seasons and, you know, as you go along, the designs change. But I couldn't help but have this nagging thought that y'all were gonna ruin it, because I can see the comment section now. I watched this video at 2 times speed, so I've watched all of Ninjago in just 5 minutes. And we can't have that, now can we? So, I pushed it further. All of Ninjago in 1 second. We're gonna speed everything up until it's only 1 second long. What does that look like? I'll show you. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it breaks down quite nicely into 1 or 2 frames per season. You're just missing one for Day of the Departed in the island. By the way, we are now running 209,000 times faster than the original. 20 million% speed. But by now, you've had the same thought that I've had. People watching this at 2 times speed have seen Ninjago in half a second. And so, all of you hypothetical commenters have forced me to take drastic measures. I sped up all of Ninjago as fast as it can go. That's right, we're speeding up Ninjago until it's only 1 frame. The frame is the smallest possible unit of video because it's just a still image. It's perceptible as quickly as humanly possible. If I speed it up to just 1 frame in length, then we're all on an equal playing field. No petty, I watched it twice as fast comments, because it's literally not possible. So, the question is, at 500 million% speed, what's the 1 frame? All right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's going on here is when you speed something up, you have to lose frames, assuming that you're playing it back at the same frame rate. If you double the speed, then you're dropping every other frame. And what you're watching is basically the sequence of odd frames. If you keep on speeding up a video, you're going to be dropping more and more frames. And if you get it to the point where it's just 1 frame, you're just gonna be left with the first frame. So this lovely still is the black before the fade in of the beginning of the first pilot episode. It's not very exciting. I'll give you that. But at least we all perceived it at the same speed. Who's watched Ninjago the fastest? Everyone. Every time they've looked at a black screen. Anyway, that's the end of that spiral. But you don't think that's the end, do you? This is the Parachuting Kitten Holiday Special. We have another whole rabbit hole to go down. That was, in fact, not the only spiral that the comment section on that video sent me down. Oh, no. The other trend in comments underneath my oh-so-innocent observations was abundant medical misinformation. I wish I were kidding. One of my observations was that the plot device of Jay drowning at the end of Seabound just doesn't follow any kind of logic. He inhales a bunch of water, coughs a little bit, then it seems like he's having an asthma attack for the next little while until Nia goes glowy and extracts just an insane amount of water from his lungs. My point was, hey, that's not how drowning works. Either you get out of the water and you cough until the water is out of your lungs, or you're unconscious because you have water in your lungs. And then, you suffocate and die because you have water in your lungs. Of course, someone could perform CPR on you and hopefully get you coughing, but that doesn't happen here, so we're not gonna worry about that too much. Now, this claim led a lot of people to come into my comment section and tell me that this was actually quite a nuanced depiction of either dry drowning or secondary drowning, both of which can apparently result in someone dying after appearing to recover from a near drowning incident. I didn't know anything about these conditions, so I did some research, and it turns out there's a lot of conflicting information out there. The first thing that became clear is that both dry drowning and secondary drowning are not medically recognized terms, which makes doing rigorous research about them a little more difficult since, medical professionals aren't using them. Secondly, all the potential conditions we're talking about here are exceedingly rare and obviously not commonly understood. So if the show were trying to portray any of these on screen, they certainly didn't bother to explain them to their audience of 5 to 13-year-olds.
5 to 13? Absolutely.
But from everything I've been able to gather, these two terms are commonly referring to 3 different phenomena. First, when you have a near drowning event, you inhale a bunch of water and then cough it all out, and the irritation from that affects your pulmonary surfactant, which is essentially what allows your lungs to inflate. So instead, your lungs begin to collapse and you're not able to breathe in anything, and so you suffocate. This is one of the things that people are referring to when they talk about secondary drowning. Key point being, water comes into your lungs, water goes out of your lungs, and then your lungs collapse, meaning no large volumes of water in your lungs when you die. So, is that what we see here? Right. Well, that's only one possible definition. The other option for secondary drowning is a similar scenario. Water enters your lungs, you cough up the water, and the irritation from that event causes your lungs to start filling up with your own body fluid. Gross. This condition is called pulmonary edema, and people just generally call it secondary drowning when it happens due to a near drowning event. Now, this would potentially mean that there would be water in Jay's lungs. If only there were a way to know what type of water were being extracted from Jay's lungs.
Jay has a significant amount of seawater in his lungs.
Oh, right. We do know. Zane tells us. Jay has seawater in his lungs this whole time. So I guess that one's a bust too. But hey, we've still got dry drowning. I haven't defined that one yet. Dry drowning happens when you start drowning, but your body realizes that that's what's happening, and so it closes up your airway so the water can't get in. But that also means you can't breathe, so you suffocate anyway. It's called dry drowning because it appears like you're drowning, but your lungs stay dry the whole time. So, is that what happened to Jay? Look, it would be really cool if Ninjago was like a medically progressive show that was warning about the dangers of secondary drowning, but I don't think that's the case. There is no scenario in which you have this much water in your lungs for this long and you do not die. That's not a thing. I consulted a doctor about this. It's my dad. My dad's a doctor. And I made him answer my questions about a Lego TV show. If you're drowning and you inhale like gallons worth of water and then you get pulled out and the water stays in your lungs for several hours, what are the chances that you would still be alive?
Well, first of all, I don't even think you could fit gallons of water into your lung capacity. No, you have to exchange oxygen to stay alive, and if your lungs are full of water, they can't exchange oxygen. Unless you've, developed gills in there or something, but that would be the only way.
I mean, that might be a possible plot point they could have worked in this season. We are dealing with, merfolk type people, but
That's the only
gills.
conceivable way I could
if you grow
come up
gills.
with them surviving and filling their entire lung with water.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, unless they have an extra lung down their hollow leg, I don't know.
And even if you put all of that aside, do you really think that's what the writers intended? No! They wanted Jay to drown, but they didn't factor in the several minutes worth of tension building that they also wanted to do, and so we ended up with this nonsensical mess. And you know what? That's fine! It's fine. It's fine that the creators did a funny medical goof. right? You don't have to try and defend them on that. Trust me, they're not worth it.
And send a distress call to some queen.
Princess Vanya of Shintaro.
Man, that was a lot. I need like a nice binge of the entire show to recover. Nice. All right. Well, that's all we've got for the Parachuting Kitten holiday special. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly had a great time. I know this had nothing to do with any holiday, but you know, I wanted to dress up and decorate and screw you. Now, anytime you see a black screen, you can go, ah, Ninjago.